Elegant Sea Urchin is an unyielding eldritch mind parasite, written, produced, and presented by Studio Swoon as part of the greater Swoon Craft Creative. You can support this and all things Swoon by subbing, sharing, becoming a patron, or making a one-time donation. Before the program starts, the manufacturers of the previously mentioned recall has gone bankrupt and gave one final message. They say to keep your ears. The address you're shipping to is now a pit of carbonic acid, and you'll likely not get anything back that you send there. Hey, you, listening. Thanks. And enjoy. Belief is a dangerous thing. It takes trust in something you don't observe. It's building up a story of why a thing is correct or wrong. It's like hope, but hope is inspiring. It's a desire, something yet to have. It's the journey to belief. For once you have or have not what you hoped for, once your hopes are affirmed or rejected, you no longer have the desire, the spark that drives a journey. Any listener that these waves reach, I believe I'm in over my head. The journey can't go on if this whirl of time doesn't give way to Sina and I. I've gotten used to the preverb and reverb of this place, but I don't think I'm quite right now. So if these are my last casts across our tangerine speck, well, I need Grandmom to know that I love her. I need Heather to know there's some things that have been on my mind that we've needed to talk about, but I think it would all work out given the chance. This distance, the few words we get here and there. Smogs, I miss her. That crystal, I knew what it could be used for. Sina believed in me, so she handed it over without question what I'd do with it. But, well, you'll... But I can't find any spark to face listeners. It's gotten so much worse. Before that, Azathoth. What I know is beyond me. I can credit the doctrines I've read, the scripts that outline everything about wavios and the waves, but I'm not an expert. I might be able to repair a wavio if pressed, but given a pile of parts, I couldn't put one together from scratch. Crystals were replaced by runes. They have more uses than runes, but are far more fragile. And so I've opened the wavio's chassis. My hands seemingly moved on their own. The transistor was removed and the eldritch carved crystal wouldn't fit in the space, but it would connect. All it took was tacking the plugs to either side and... She had taken my rail spike. I knew it was missing, but it's not the end of things. Yule sat pounding away on the spike. I think I've mentioned the light atop the Century Spire. She was trying to drive it into the orb on the plateau. In her endless babble, it sounded like something was calling her. I know. I told her I heard it too, but it's not calling. Wave catchers. Yule! It's a warning. The heat of the coming season, it's absent. But why? It was the peak of the day. The sky should be blazing golden orange. The heat should be rushing in. But it was just cold. And Yule chipped away at the setting. Something occurred to me while standing there, sad of the state of my friend. Listeners, the remains of the scene Yule had designed still littered the plateau of the spire. The blade, the bowl, the carcass, and her runes. 2 were missing. I don't know why, but something told me I needed them. I know. I didn't even turn to look. I just ran into the hotel, biting my cheek to soften the spiking pain from my leg. We had received an invitation. It came in an envelope slipped under the door. I'm beginning to think these doors are a lot less secure than modern rooms. Sure, small things can slip in and out much like this note, but Is there anything besides the little nub of brass protecting us? A shock, a glimpse of what should never be seen, a year of visions. Oh, right, the letter. It was to a Smogs meal. I didn't really like the idea of staying up. The endless echoes of this place are starting to make even my thoughts have shadows, even though I'm getting mostly used to it all. And, through the Smogs is the only time things seem to really quiet. Not completely, though. There's a chittering, not unlike the spawn of the background noise of the universe, and cock rats. Sina didn't mind. She said she'd go if I did. There was no date on the letter. Who needs a date when you've got cashews? Oh, I get it. You know, listeners, on the subject of cock rats, let me back up a little. Sina and I went to the front desk to talk with Elder Urchin. There's a lot we want to know after, well, we lost track of the days, but that's besides the point. First, I asked something that sort of confused me. Do you know anything about true darkness? She watched me for a little longer than I was comfortable. Not seeing her through that veil really gets to me. And just as I was starting to writhe, she said she didn't. Sina next asked about the cap. I think I saw Elder Urchin smirk. Maybe it was just a strange ripple of the star-laced cloth. Sina too got a very simple answer. He keeps us on course. I should have followed up on what that even meant, but it was hard enough keeping my thoughts straight at the time. How are all of your other visitors? I heard Sina inhale slowly. The elder placed her hand on the counter. Relief rippled over me as her head tilted down. I assume she was looking at records. At last she replied, all as sprightly as ever. I think the respite from her draining look gave Sina a second wind. What do you make of the time here? She crossed one arm, leisurely gesturing with the other. It's the only way to carry on. Carry what on? Sina was becoming as unnerved as I was. The cap has waited a long time for the right person to arrive. With her, we can move on. Her? You mean Yule? The thought of losing Yule, the image of her dancing on the spires, the ritual, the blood, it jolted me in control of my nerves. Sina seemed to be on my wavelength. You can tell the cap that Yule isn't part of anything he's been waiting for. There were webs everywhere. Do be careful with your words, my loathsome urchins. We felt ice running through us at Urchin's statement. And I just remembered that there was a notice behind her desk. It said, "Attention, please notify hotel staff of any indication of cock rats through the building." I had encountered the cap. That's a strong start to this. I had been aware it happens, but I have avoided it as long as I could. At last I stepped into the spool of time that led me to him. It was a dark night, but still nothing I call true darkness. I was thinking about that in this cellar. Why did I trust this random voice? What if it was the Eldritch Gods fucking with me, trying to screw me out of another reality that I'm not miserable in, that I'm that I am figuring out happiness in? Yeah, that's it. That's the one. The door of an old chamber opened. Its hinges made an awful cry as they opened. Welcome. His bushy square face smiled at me. Make yourself at home. I know you kids ain't used to hospitality, but I just can't bring myself to be an ass. His movements were rather clunky as he moved to a plush blue chair behind a desk. I should have brought Sina with me. You're probably thinking you should have brought your brunette friend with you, huh? I stepped into the room, ignoring that.
Heh, ain't no version of you what does. But there's two conclusions me and you make. Which does this you choose?
I couldn't see the outcome of this. My eyes searched for some signs that I was falling into a trap as I sat across from him on a rather uncomfortable chair. I'll choose whatever gets me and my friends out of here.
Oh, of course you do. Altruism's all but non-existent today, but Fable, as much as I want to foster that, whichever way, that ain't what you get.
By an Heraclean's eighth eye, it isn't.
No, there's that spark in you that's gotten you out of so many bad events. Looky.
He turned, grabbing for a block. I don't really know what it was. How are you so certain there's only two outcomes?
'Cause you ain't no protagonist.
He was fast to reply as he let a plastic thing folded over on itself smack down on the desk.
You see, I got a family that I want to get back to.
He flipped the plastic thing open and pointed to images of people stuck to stiff parchment.
Now I know our fate, but I ain't letting your today go any further till we move on. Been waiting a mighty long time. First I was scared to let go, but now...
Excuse me, sir.
You know to call me Cap.
I don't care. You've had a long time to figure out how to get to your family. Whatever choice you think there is for me, I'm not making it. His hum sounded like a low growl. He grabbed a thin piece of wood off of his desk and began gnawing on an end of it. He looked at the shelves behind him, ruffling his scruffy face. Finally he said,
Better watch your tongue in the days to come. One thing I learned from this place is that we don't control our fate. Ain't no ex machinas or magic baubles that'll change things for you and us.
I didn't have a clear plan, but I still sternly said, Do not think that I can't find a way, and left his chambers. I don't know how I reached the suite before Yule, but I slammed my back to the door, giving Sina a start. I think she knew instantly what was happening, but it was quiet. For a long time, we waited anxiously. From behind the door, we thought we heard Yule say, Fable, Sina, I figured it out. But the tone of her voice unnerved me. It's everlasting. Sina and I were silent, the resolve of what Yule thought she had discovered stunning us. At last she declared, You figured it out too, but it can't be you, Fable. You can't be in the way. What? Yule laughed, like I'd never heard before. You hear it, don't you? I bet you're fine-tuned into it more and more. Faye, you can't handle what you'll hear, though. Give it to me. This is my responsibility. Time crept by. Surely the Cap would come along to whisk Yule. No. I didn't like the idea of that. I think I preferred her here on the other side of the threshold. And time crept along. The day was dithering. Maybe Yule would head to the dining hall, but I didn't like the idea of that either. Time dragged on. There was a noise, familiar, faint scratching and scraping. Yule screamed, and down the hall we heard her zip. She went downstairs. Sina reported, peeking out of the suite. I grabbed Enzo's car plush and the modified Wavio. In all that time, holding the doorbell plank closed, something made sense. Arranging the runes around me, I set the Wavio down. It doesn't stand upright with the awkward weight of the crystal attached to it. It doesn't even receive waves anymore. Both me and Sina tried to tune it, only to hear a hellish roar from the universe. A quick apology to my voided Q9 as I plucked the antenna off of his favorite thing. I felt it vibrate gently in my fingers. I thought about how all of this may be completely different if Enzo had been with us. You know, listeners, 'cause I think he may have helped us steer away from the Hotel Crepuscular. Maybe not. Either way, it wasn't a good time to be sentimental.
Fable, you need to hurry with whatever you're doing. Yule found not just the cap, but I hear a scene coming.
Right. There's, just here. And as if guided by the universe itself, the antenna fit a hole on the exposed board of my Wavio. When I first opened the chassis, I didn't take any note of the small intricacies because I don't know what they do or mean. But I think deep down, I really do, though. I settled down and began comforting the remaining runes: wax, tongue, blood, cum, and snot. The static, the tickling feeling of activating multiple runes washed over me. Without a circle, the energies found focus through the antenna and my Wavio, through the crystal, through me. My mind filled with a calm magenta smog, and warmth filled me. I heard nothing. Nothing that made sense at first. But as time passed, something unusual to us, a welcoming and overbearing kindness. The words felt so earnest and loving. Some rational side of me said it was the Eldritch. This had to be the reward the tendrils received. Before I could contemplate on widespread hate and the privilege of love, I was all but pulled to my feet. Sina and her iron strength had me. I had completely forgotten the situation and now felt empty and cold in the absence of the right's effects. Looking to my feet, the Wavio had fallen, the crystal only tacked on by one piece of wire, the secretions expended, consumed by the runes. We were in no strangely named alcove with a doorbell threshold. It was dark, but there was the shape of a long corridor before and behind us. There was a smell gently flowing from one direction. It was so familiar, but I couldn't place it. My Wavio sprang to life, static and voices pulsing from its speakers. Faye, Yule leapt at us as you finished the ritual, Sina began explaining as I came to my senses. She, wherever we are, she made it into the ritual with us. Where is she? There was Sina was visibly keeping herself from shivering. A noise. She said it was an elder one welcoming her. Was it? I thought I could faintly hear Yule singing, wailing, crying. Look closely at the walls. I jerked my hand back as I began gathering our things. 8-legged cats. I felt ice in my veins. There were layers of webbing under us that had lost their stickiness from seasons of traffic. Before I could get high-tide, Sina kept me level. I need you to go find this true darkness, Fable. If we're ever going to find it, it'll be here. My eyes began hurting. Well, what about you? Sina took my hand. She always seemed so serious, but her eyes made her normal demeanor pale in comparison. Faye, I believe in you. For everything you hold in for everything you love. Please, believe in me. Just for this one eternity. Believe in me like you believe in your connection with Heather. She looked down the long hall the wailing was coming from. Believe that I can help Yule because I can't dredge up that faith for myself. I want to think it's because of this place, this hotel, that I knew what to do, but we avoided experiencing the now.